All right, hey VC, how you doing? My name is Jamie. Again, thanks so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. It's a Friday, weekend coming up. Last night I had a nice time at the Revival House Vinyl Society, the Revival Vinyl Society. I have spoken about this in the past. Revival House is a sort of restaurant, event, concert venue, and at the end of the month, last Thursday of the month, they have what's called a Revival Vinyl Society. So obviously you just bring your records in, bring your albums in, and they'll play like a couple of cuts from your album, and you can talk about it if you wish, that sort of thing. And yeah, it was another good time last night, and it usually goes well into the evening. Starts about 8 o'clock, goes well into the evening, and it was again all over the map musically. There was dirty dancing to classic rock to thrash metal. Of course, there's always a bit of reggae, that sort of thing. And I generally like going because I want to hear, definitely something different. Not necessarily something new, but something different or something that I'm not usually exposed to. And generally through the evening, there's going to be something that was like, okay, that sounds, interesting. It's nice to get, exposed to some different sounds, that sort of thing. Now, there was also a shout out if anyone picked up anything at Record Store Day, Black Friday, to bring it in. So I did. I brought in, which I've shown you before, the Devo debut, Are We Not Men, We Are Devo, the picture disc. This was from Record Store Day, Black Friday. So I did bring this in, and it went over rather well. People really seem to get into it, especially maybe some of the younger people that weren't familiar with this. We played the first two tracks, Uncontrollable Urge and I Can't Get No Satisfaction. So yeah, it seemed to go over rather well. So there you go. Okay, I was in Cambridge and record store there, and picked up a few things. Was traveling, but had a little bit of time on my hands, and so yeah, I kind of browsed through their selection, and yeah, picked up a few things, and was thrilled to get this. Well, I wasn't even looking for it. Rick Wakeman and No Earthly Connection. And this came out in the 70s, 76, something like that. And as you can see, it's classic Rick Wakeman, and it's Rick Wakeman and the English Rock Ensemble, No Earthly Connection. And I was thrilled to see the inner sleeve included. And as you can note here, this kind of wild, sort of stretched out drawing of Rick Wakeman. So the inner sleeve is included, which is quite nice to see. Nice cardboard inner sleeve, and on A&M. And yeah, this came out in 1976. So there's that, and was thrilled to see that the foil was included. And it's a little bent, but if you know this album, you know what I mean. If you don't, well, here they give you the instructions on what to do with the foil. So essentially, you take the foil, you curl it up for it to be like a tube, and they suggest putting tape on, but you don't necessarily have to. And then you put the foil basically here in the center, and you don't look through the foil. Basically, how this works, you're not going to be able to see this certainly through YouTube here. It's just not going to work out. But basically, so you're taking this and you're putting it into like a tube, and essentially the idea is you put it on like sort of the main circle here, and you're not looking through it or anything like that. I'm doing a bit of a balancing act here for you. So essentially what it does, and I can see it on my angle, but you're not going to be able to, what it does, it takes this, what is a stretched out photo, and when you look at it through here, it corrects it and makes it look like a normal picture, or at least corrects the dimensions, that sort of thing. So yeah, you're not really going to be able to see this at all through here. But yeah, you look at it, and then you're like, oh, okay, so there it is, reflected there. And you can do the same at the back as well, because it's all stretched out on the back, and essentially you put this on the sleeve there, and then it's sort of, yeah, you're not really going to be able to see it, but it corrects the dimensions, essentially. So this was mid-70s high-tech fun at its finest with your albums. There you go. But I was happy to see that included. Really enjoyed that, and it's a great album too overall. It's classic Rick Wakeman solo stuff, lots of keyboards, whatnot. And I had previously owned this as part of the Deluxe Edition series, and they have been putting out a few of them. This one came out in 2016. So this is the double CD deluxe edition. Disc 1, of course, is the album, and then Disc 2 is BBC Live at the Hammersmith Odeon from 1976. So there you have that. And certainly these deluxe editions, sometimes they get a little pricey for CDs, but overall they're quite good in terms of you get really a lot of music, or certainly music that you haven't heard before, that sort of thing. We can take a look at the booklet, and again they do the reproductions of the album. They don't include any little foil wrapping to take a look at it, unfortunately. Obviously, they talk about it and include that here, but yeah, I think maybe they should have included even just a little, almost like a little replica. They should have included that, but I guess they didn't. Alright, so Rick Wakeman, and of course very much back with, John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Trevor Rabin. Continuing to tour. I do hope they put out some new music, though. That'd be great. Okay, and a few more we got for you, and he's quite the individual, the one, the only, Ted Nugent, and this is Weekend Warriors, his rockin' album from 1978, and certainly remember the title track, also the lead-off song, Need You Bad, which is on this, and overall, it's the Nuge, it's rockin' from start to finish. A lot of flashy guitar work, and this did come with the inner sleeve, which is very nice to see. And yeah, there's no one quite like Ted Nugent, that's for sure. Weekend Warriors. Alright, so a little bit of Canadian content for you. Band from the late 70s and 80s released a number of albums, the Payolas, and Hammer on a Drum. And this was from 1983 on A&M, featuring Paul Hyde and Bob Rock. Now, Bob Rock later went on to be a producer extraordinaire, continues to be quite a high-in-demand producer. But so this is their album from 1983. Where Is This Love? Certainly got a fair bit of radio play, but the big hit from this was Never Said I Love You, which was a duet with Carol Pope of Rough Trade. Also, Christmas Is Coming is a track that still gets a lot of radio airplay every Christmas. And it's good kind of power pop sort of thing. Nice to see the inner sleeve. And they haven't really done any reissues with this band, and their stuff is getting increasingly harder to find on both vinyl and even on CD. The Payolas, then the two of the members went on to form Rock and Hyde, Bob Rock and Paul Hyde, and they released one, maybe two albums, and then went their separate ways, but then with Bob Rock becoming quite the producer extraordinaire. Alright, Payolas and Hammer on a Drum. Alright, we got a UK pressing this time for E.L.P. Emerson, Lake and Palmer Pictures at an Exhibition. And of course the classic gatefold. And classic E.L.P. So there's that, and then the inside. Alright, and as I mentioned, the police to see that this is a UK pressing. And overall, very good condition. And on the Matacore label. Whoops. Don't want to drop the album. There we go. Pictures at an Exhibition. From 1971. Good stuff. Alright, and we got one more for you. Always love this band, Kansas and Leftoverture. What a great album from start to finish. When you kick it off with Carry On Wayward Son. And that's a song, some classic rock songs, you do get tired after the millionth time you've heard it. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but Carry On Wayward Son, I can continue to listen to that song. Every time it pops on the radio or, streaming services, whatever. I just enjoy it every single time. And certainly a great album from start to finish. And nice to see the inner sleeve. Great picture of the guys there. There you go. And I see the lyrics. And I believe initially it came out on Kirshner Records, but then distributed through Columbia. Oh, it does say Kirshner right up at the top there. Okay. Classic stuff. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thanks again for stopping by. Have yourself an absolutely great weekend, and yeah, we'll chat again on Monday. And if you can, hit like, leave your comments. I try to get back as soon as I can to your comments, and certainly hit like and subscribe and that bell notification thing. Take care. Bye-bye.